We can now bring in Todd Bell, professor and director of political management at George Washington University. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on France 24. Now, this was a bittersweet moment for Joe Biden, wasn't it? Because on one hand, his administration had many successes, but he himself was an ineffective messenger, and his age got the better of him.
Well, thanks for having me on again. It's great to be with you. You're absolutely right. Joe Biden was a very successful president by most measures. He passed four landmark bills when he was president. Well, he still is president. And two of them were highly bipartisan. I don't think he gets enough recognition for that. But, you know, his age really caught up with him. You see him going back and forth. The State of the Union address, he was very strong and on message, but the debate, he really faltered. Last night he was better, but there were a couple slip-ups, and you could tell the age was still sort of getting to him, even though he did perform pretty well. It was really time for that handoff of the baton. As he said, he saw himself as a bridge to the future. But I don't think he would have run again if Trump were not running. I think he thinks Trump is a mortal threat. I think all of the Democrats made that clear last night, and that's going to be the message going forward, as well as trying to get people to know and understand who Kamala Harris is and what she stands for.
Let's talk about Kamala Harris for a second, because before Biden dropped out of the race, pundits on U.S. television channels said putting Kamala Harris on the ticket would be a grave mistake. I know she hasn't given many interviews or any interviews since she took on that mantle, but her positioning herself as a prosecutor taking on the felon seems to have resonated.
It really has. I think a lot of this so far, at least the honeymoon period that we're having with the voters, particularly young voters and voters of color, that's where we've seen the biggest shift, and that's where Biden was losing the most, are really excited about her. I don't know that it's necessarily the prosecutor thing, but they're certainly leaning into that because there are two major weaknesses that Kamala Harris has, and that is immigration and crime. They can sort of thwart that by talking about the fact that she was a prosecutor and play that up. And they're putting together a bunch of messages on immigration. That's the other real weak Achilles heel that she has that they're going to try to get out in front of and message on.
What about Donald Trump? Because when it was him against Joe Biden, you know, this election was his to lose. But things have changed over the past month. Besides him trying to mispronounce Kamala Harris's name, questioning her identity, it seems like he's faltering.
Absolutely. This has really put Donald Trump back on his heels. He's in a place where he never expected to be coming out of the Republican convention. They had all the signs made, they had all the ads made, and it was just time to unroll it and cruise to victory. But now Donald Trump, like I said, he doesn't know exactly how to combat Harris and Walz, and he's trying to find a way, and nothing's really working so far. It probably didn't help him that after he picked J.D. Vance, he sent Vance around to the swing states and stayed in Mar-a-Lago. He probably should have been out there and trying to get some of that shine, the media glare back on him. He's trying to do it now with the counter-programming, but that's a hard thing to do with all the media in Chicago.
Exactly. And we also have, the Democrats who have abortion as their rallying cry, essentially, in this election. And then you have J.D. Vance, his vice presidential pick, who's going after a single women who don't have children. It seems like they're not trying to get women on board, just alienating them further.
It really seems that way. I mean, some of the things that J.D. Vance has said about women have really come back to haunt him. And it's just, you know, Donald Trump took credit for the abortion overturning of Roe v. Wade with the three justices he appointed. Now he wants to have it both ways. He wants to say leave it up to the states. But we're seeing the states move in ways that are not very popular, including even moving into in vitro fertilization. And both Trump and Vance are having really difficult time messaging on this. But Trump's never really been one to try to expand his coalition too much. Trump is Trump, and he will continue doing what he does. I don't think that's going to work very well with him this time.
I know we just only had one day of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, but it seems that the Democrats are positioning this election as one of hope, looking to the future, to what America can be, the best of America. And it seems that Donald Trump it's versus hope and a very dark reality. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that's a real fair assessment. I think you can also throw the Biden campaign in there because when it was Biden and Trump, they were just attacking one another and how bad everything was under each other's administration. Now you have someone who's trying to disentangle herself from the Biden administration, but taking the good and leaving the bad. That's Kamala Harris, of course. And they're trying to turn the page. They're trying to give people something to vote for and not just against. After all, elections are about the future, and you can't beat something with nothing.
Exactly, and she has the age clearly on her side, and she's the younger candidate in this race. Todd Bell, we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you. Great to be with you.